time to garden. The notion of summer gardening brings thoughts of a brilliant sun glittering in a bright blue day. A wide-brimmed hat nestled atop your head, perhaps, and sweat trickling down your neck as tangible evidence of your toil. It's good, clean work, this sort of hot summer day gardening, and it nurtures the spirit to labor the land with such love. But this sort of gardening is not what you intend to do today. Today, you let the sun rise past its peak and bleed away into a fiery sky. The fire is over now, nothing but a memory whispered in the traces of magenta and lavender at the edge of the gray sky tinged with indigo. Here is the death of the golden hour and the beginning of the blue. Here is the first stage of twilight, soon to fall into dusk. You witness this through the window, and the slow progression of dancing colors calls you. It is time. From the warm darkness in the top drawer of your nightstand, you retrieve a simple plastic bag. Within the bag is a damp paper towel, aged for some 4 or 5 days. Tucked away in this muggy environment are seeds gathered from wild sunflowers off the side of the road. You are not a conventional gardener. Your seeds come from flowers sprouted fresh from the earth, not neatly sealed packets displayed in grocery stores. The bag is yielding. It shifts to rest against the grooves of your hand. You leave it closed to give the seeds their privacy. They will find the light in due time. You tread the well-worn path through your house to the back door, swing it open, and step out barefoot into the gloaming. The shift is instantaneous. All the heat gathered by the land over the course of the day has been gentled by the evening's cool, and the modest warmth floods toward you, settling around you in a cozy embrace and caressing your skin with soft fingers. It envelops you in a greeting, and you feel as if you have just come home from a long journey. The air is a feathery cotton blanket draped around your shoulders. Its weight is just enough to keep your feet on the ground, supported by the stone terrace beneath you. From a distance, a mourning dove regards you impassively. It flutters away, laughing softly in the way that doves do as they take to the air. When the dove is gone, all that's left is the distant ambience of unseen crickets, trilling softly with shivering wings. You tilt your head to the sky. The world smells like a rainstorm's end. Slowly you breathe in the earthy scent, and the tension in your throat melts away. The air fills your lungs, and the tightness in your chest unravels. The air is yours now. Your body has claimed it, and your heart will send it coursing through your vessels, until all of you is filled with the nourishing air of the outdoors. The stagnant worries of the day slip from your veins into your expanded lungs. Slowly you breathe out and release them into nothingness. Once more, you breathe in and out, in and out. Each breath out dissipates the thoughts roiling in your stomach, your chest, your throat. Each breath in fills your body with quiet strength and peace. You step from the terrace into the expanse of grass ahead. The soil beneath is spongy, light, and just the slightest bit damp. There is nothing between the skin of your feet and the grass, but the grass is soft, velvety, and you have taken care to clear the backyard of its rougher weeds. Ah, there. The tangle of crabgrass in the midst of the gentler variety of velvety grass. You place the plastic bag of sunflower seeds in your hand to the side, just for a moment. You bend down and sink your fingers into the soil around the tangle. Your fingers hook into the roots. For a moment, you tense your hands and you pull. The soil gives way and the tangle comes loose, roots and all. Some messy tangle in your head has come loose too. When you toss the crabgrass aside, your tangled thoughts are tossed with it. Your hands unfurl, stretch, and relax. Your mind is free and open. There are dandelions growing in the velvety grass, blooms of yellow dotting the green, but you let them be. You pick up the plastic bag again. It rests against the gentle grooves of your hand. It is a reminder that you have a destination, but you are unhurried. The sky is magenta and lavender, gray and indigo. You have all the time in the world. It's the journey that matters most. The spongy ground gives a slight spring to your every savored step. The velvety grass brushes the soles of your feet. You pause to wiggle your toes and sink them into the warm, silty earth. With languid ease, you move forward 1 foot at a time. The day went by so needlessly fast. It's time to make these moments last forever. But forever ends eventually, and you reach the edge of the grass. Beyond the grass is a long strip of soil, stretched along 3 sides to mark the borders of your backyard. This is your garden. This is your childhood home. And the old garden, the old growth, has long languished away. At some point, you freed the garden of its old withering foliage, and now you are left with this blank slate of soil. One day, it will be efflorescent. Today, you begin. You place the bag of sunflower seeds to the side. You fold your limbs into a comfortable crouch, with the earth wholly supporting your weight. You are even closer to the world now, able to see every detail on the ground before you. every gray speck of gravel and green bit of plant life across the sea of brown. The soil is dark, except for the places where mosses and wildflowers have found their way. It is undulating, with rising hills and falling dips. Most of the dips contain yesterday's rain, miniature basins with water so pure and clear that you could cup it in your hands and drink to quench your thirst. One dip has tiny pony's foot plants growing in its depths, a miniature forest immersed in an atmosphere of rainwater. You reach towards a spot that's free of both plant life and water. This is where you will grow your sunflowers, the first residence of your garden to be. With your hands, you dig. You are not a conventional gardener. You work the earth with your hands and have no want for the intermediary presence of a shovel or a spade. In this way, you are directly connected to the earth. Your feelings travel unfiltered from your heart to your fingertips, and from your fingertips to the soil. There is something raw in this primitive means of digging, something deeply satisfying in the soft yet gritty feel of dirt rubbing against your hands. The dirt is still holding on to some last vestiges of the fallen sun's heat, giving it a slight warmth that makes it feel pulsing and alive between your fingers. You do not need to dig long for your sunflower seeds, but just as you reach a depth with which you are pleased, your fingers brush something solid. The surface of it is round and much too smooth to be a rock. You dig deeper and excavate a small cat's eye marble. It's clear glass, with swirled blades of aquamarine. The sight of it evokes in you a hazy memory from time immemorial, the nostalgic kind of memory that feels rather like a dream. You keep digging and find a handful more marbles, all varying sizes and shapes, a cheerful posse of colorful orbs. The memory gets stronger, still dreamlike and faded around the edges. You played with these marbles once, although you thought them to have disappeared in the mysterious way that childhood things do. You had long forgotten them, but seeing them now allows you to remember. You used to roll these marbles in circles across the ground, pretending that these marbles were planets whirling through the earth-made sky. Look here, that large rusty one ringed with red and yellow and white, resembling agate. That was your Jupiter. The little sparkling white one was Pluto, before you knew what Pluto looked like, and the translucent blue-green one was Earth, and of course, you were the sun. Perhaps one day you forgot about the marbles outside and left them to be subject to the forces of nature. There were many stormy days elapsed between your childhood and now, and the powerful wind and rain of those storms would easily move the marbles and bury them. Or perhaps the burial was a choice, and you wish to let the marbles rest in the ground. You have never outgrown your love of digging. your love of the natural earth. You can choose to take the marbles with you when you return home. They are beautiful, and the fond memory of swirling planets will not be unwelcome. You can give them to the child of a neighborhood friend, so that the marbles can spread their legacy of youthful joy. You can return them to their underground slumber. They would be preserved for the rest of time, unless storms unearth them once more and weather them, returning them to the earth in minute pieces, like the sand from which they were spun. Any of these choices would be an honorable end for the marbles that gave you such happiness when you were younger. You do not need to make the decision now. You let the marbles tumble out of your hand. They clatter softly against each other and thump gently onto the ground. Your encounter with them was a pleasant surprise. Now it is time to return to the task you came here to do. You return overflowing handfuls of soil to the hole you dug, until it's back to the depth you had before you unearthed the marbles, a shallow pit suitable for your sunflower seeds. Gently, you carve out a few more pits, shaping the soil with fingers that grow steadier with each rhythmic motion. The rhythm is familiar and soothing. Finally, you open the bag, unfolding the damp towel within to reveal the sprouted seeds to the open air. Their first leaves are still hidden away in their black-striped shells. Their pale roots are hardly the width of your thumb, just beginning to burrow deep into the towel to drink every droplet of water they can. With the utmost care in your delicate movements, you extricate the fragile roots of the seeds from the towel. The slightly cracked shells are a little slippery between your fingers. If you peer into them at just the right angle, you can see a hint of green, the promise of growth to come. Each seed is deposited in a shallow pit and buried in a blanket of warm earth, patted gently down. This is all they will need to flourish. You are not a conventional gardener. Simple, pure soil is enough to nurture your garden. When the last seed is planted and tucked in with its soil blanket, you dip your hands into one of the rainwater puddles, cleansing them of the thin film of dust that is collected on your palms and the lines of your skin. You scoop cool water into your cupped hands and let it drip, drip, drip onto the soil that now hides your seeds. In a few days, they will shyly peek their curled stems above the surface, and a few days after that, those stems will stretch up towards the sky, the shell will fall away, and the leaves will unfurl to greet the sun. By the fall, you will have golden sunflowers blossoming in your garden, alongside whichever seeds you pick up next. But for now, in this little slice of time, the seeds slumber on beneath the earth, beneath the warm summer air, beneath the vast twilight sky. The end.